Dragon Ball Z have some problems when you look at the writing in hindsight, because Akira Toriyama was writing on the fly, and whenever his producer wanted something changed, it changed. One, for an example, is that he had to create a new transformation every time a new villain was introduced. I mean, normal TV shows, the drama has to get worse and worse and worse so the show will still be engaging for the new season. But I think it's way worse when your characters who are humans have to get physically stronger. Now, Goku, he goes from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4, and then the other ones like Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which is really stupid. But every time Akira has to write something new, he has to show this character going through a triumphant moment, changing and breaking barriers, so that way you could be like, oh my goodness, this is so crazy. And it sucks after a while because this kind of writing becomes so old. But the topic for this video is not even about that. It's about how many gods are actually in Dragon Ball Z and how they go through that same progression with the transformations. Like, for an example, you got these gods. You got Kami, you got Dende, you got Supreme Kai, King Kai, you got Beerus, you got Zeno, you got all these different gods. And all these gods have their roles, but once Goku becomes stronger or just finds a new god, are those gods that were before, are they really still God? Like, who cares about Kami or Dende anymore when you got Beerus? I know they create Dragon Balls like Kami and Dende, but their whole race can do that. They're basically useless in the story because of that. That's what happens in this show. The new thing becomes the thing, and the previous thing that was probably cool becomes the old thing that now is useless. When Beerus arrives, it just creates so many useless characters in the show. I used to think that all religions were like just kind of the same, like they were all connected in some way. Like maybe Jesus was the same as the Brahma, as the same as Allah from the Muslim Bible, or as the same as Zeus. Like I just thought they were all connected. Like maybe everybody was just serving the same energy, like the same good energy. You know, like maybe everybody is just trying to do some good and all just trying to serve this good energy like Allah and all those things. But I just assumed that because I was scared. I was scared that my questions would be answered about heaven, hell, and all these things, and that I would be wrong. But the thing that Prophet Lovi says is that assumptions are the basis of all foolishness. So if we look back at Dragon Ball Z, we see that there's one god that does this, and there's another god that does this, and another god does this. And there are distinctions between their characters and everything, but they become useless because every time a new authority is created, that last person becomes useless. But there is no higher authority over everything. Well, except for Zeno, but I don't know that much about Zeno because I checked out with the show when he came in. So if you absolutely know you can get something from Supreme Kai and Beerus, and you really need something crazy, who are you going to go to? Because even if Beerus can't make Dragon Balls, he can still make Dende make those Dragon Balls because of his authority is higher than Dende's. You know, I hear this term thrown around sometimes when I'm like playing video games or anything like that, but some people say pick a god and pray, but in reality, you will want to pick the right god that's going to have some real authority and power to change your situation. If there are multiple gods, check out what each god does. Some things may overlap, but God will be the creator of all things. He will be a person that's outside of time that created us. We have a beginning and end, but he would not have a beginning and end because he is God. If he is created, then he wouldn't be God. God would not just be the guardian of earth. Like, God will know our origin and how we're created. And also, God would be a loving person because we are still here, even after all the things that we're doing on this planet. And also, he would know where we're going to go after we leave this earth. A lot of religions have answers to these questions, but they are all not 100% the same. Like in the Muslim Bible, the Quran, they say that the Christian Bible is 100% true, but also they add their own book that was written by the Prophet Muhammad. Now, Muhammad wrote about the God Allah, which is very different from the Christian Bible's God. Now, I don't personally know that much about Allah, but in the Bible, Jesus is God. But in the Quran, Jesus was just a prophet that they actually had faked his death somehow. Also, Allah has some other weird things that he say you can do, like having a child as a wife, among some other weird things, but I'll talk about that another time. Thinking that there is just this higher power God that maybe everybody can worship without even knowing who that God is giving you a way to not search for King Kai, to not search for Dende, to not search for Beerus. Even in Dragon Ball Z, each of those gods have a specific name attached to them. Everything in this world you can identify with a name. So God will also have a character and a name to him. Are you calling Jesus or are you calling Zeus? In the Bible, back in the day, sometime before Christ, the prophet Elijah goes against 450 other prophets who worship the god Baal instead of Jesus to see whose God is really real. He tells them, hey, false prophets, y'all do a sacrifice on the altar and I'll do a sacrifice on the altar, but don't light the altar. Whoever God answers with fire, then we'll know whose God is the true God. So those false prophets do as many sacrifices as they can. They even start cutting themselves to make their God appear, but that God never appeared. Elijah just waited while they did all those crazy things, and he was like, you know what? It's my turn. So he went to the altar, he put his sacrifice on there, and poof, the fire just appeared. And Jesus came through. Like he always does. That higher power has a name. That God became useless because his God pulled through. Like I said, whose authority are you going to call on? Beerus or Dende? Like some people call on God when they're in a time of need, and maybe they're in the hospital and they may be questioning before they are about to die. Maybe they have cancer or something like that, and they just start praying. But who and what authority are you praying to? Are you praying to Dende or are you praying to Beerus? Now, this is the end of the video, so like the video. You need to like it right now. And also subscribe to the channel. I got plenty of more stuff coming. Make sure y'all comment because, you know, if y'all have any questions about anything, any open-ended questions, I'll definitely be answering every single one in the first week of this video being posted. So I'll see y'all another time.